Later, when the sun rose, the light would fall on the vivid paintings on the walls that brought them alive with colour. Especially fine was the painting that depicted Judgment Day, showing souls being tossed into the pits of hell by a goat devil. On the opposite side, St. Michael saved an occasional soul. Bartholomew often wondered what had driven the artist to clothe the devil in a scholar's tabard. As Michael continued to chant, Bartholomew opened the small sanctuary cupboard, took out chalice and paten, and turned the pages of the huge Bible to the reading for the day. When he had finished, he walked around the church lighting candles and setting out stools for those of the small congregation who were unable to stand. As he checked the level of holy water in the stoop, he grimaced with distaste at the film of scum that had accumulated. Glancing quickly down the aisle to make sure Michael was not watching, he siphoned the old water off into a jug, gave the stoop a quick wipe round, and refilled it. Keeping his back to Michael, Bartholomew poured the old water away in the piscina next to the altar, careful not to spill any. There were increasing rumours that witchcraft was on the increase in England because of the shortage of clergy after the plague, and there was a danger of holy water being stolen for use in black magic rituals. The piscina ensured that the water drained into the church foundations and could not be collected and sold. But Bartholomew, as a practising physician, as well as Michaelhouse's teacher of medicine, was more concerned that scholars would touch the filthy water to their lips and become ill. Michael finished his prayers, and Bartholomew saw him sneak a gulp of wine from the jug intended for the Mass. The monk yawned hugely and began to relate a tale of how a pardoner had tried to sell him some of the Archangel Gabriel's hair at the fair the previous day. Michael, outraged, had demanded proof that the hair had indeed belonged to Gabriel, and had been informed that the angel himself had presented it to the pardoner in a dream. Michael proudly announced that he had tipped the scoundrel and his fake hair into the king's ditch. Bartholomew winced. The ditch was a foul affair, running thick with all kinds of filth and waste, and Michael's righteous anger might well have caused the unfortunate pardoner to contract a veritable host of diseases. Before he could respond, the doors were pushed open and sleepy-eyed scholars began to file silently into church. Michael and Bartholomew shot to the altar rail and knelt quickly in the hope that they had not been seen chattering when they should have been praying. Bartholomew watched the Michaelhouse scholars take their places in the choir, the fellows in a line to the right, headed by the master, and the students and commoners behind. Cynric up Hoveth, Bartholomew's book-bearer, rang the bell to announce that the service was about to begin. The scholars of Physic Hostel, who had begged use of St. Michael's Church from Michaelhouse because their own church had been closed since the plague, processed in and stood in a neat line opposite the Michaelhouse scholars. The arrangement was an uneasy one. Physic resented being forced to rely on Michaelhouse's good graces, and Michaelhouse was nervous at sharing the church after 25 years. Bartholomew saw physics principal Richard Harling exchange a smile far from warm with Michaelhouse's senior fellow Roger Alcott. In the main body of the church, a few parishioners drifted in, yawning and rubbing the sleep from their eyes, and Michael began the service, his rich baritone filling the church as he chanted. Out of the corner of his eye, Bartholomew saw something fly through the air towards the Michaelhouse students. It landed harmlessly, but a stain on the floor attested that it was a ball of mud. Bartholomew scanned the congregation and identified the culprits in the form of the blacksmith's sons. They stood, hands clasped in front of them, eyes raised to the carved wooden roof as though nothing had happened. Bartholomew frowned. The university had a stormy relationship with the town, and although the university brought prosperity to a number of townsfolk, it also brought gangs of arrogant, noisy students who despised the people of the town and rioted at the least provocation. Bartholomew saw one of the physics students bow his head in laughter at the mud ball. The university was not even at peace with itself. Students from the south loathed